My name is Cassie. I am 23 years old. I graduated as a qualified nurse this year and was given my first position as a home nurse. My patient was an English gentleman in his early 80s who suffered from Alzheimer's. In the first meeting, the patient was given his record, and from it I could see that he was a convert to the religion of Islam, therefore he was a Muslim. I knew from this that I would need to take into account some modes of treatment that may go against his faith, and therefore try to adapt my care to meet his needs. I bought in some halal meat to cook for him and ensured that there was no pork or alcohol in the premises, as I did some research which showed me that these were forbidden in Islam. Anyway, after a few weeks with my patient, I began to notice some patterns of movement, but I saw him repeat the movement at particular times: morning, afternoon, evening. Also, there was something strange. He didn't allow me to feed him with my left hand. Somehow I knew this linked to his religion, but didn't know how. One of my colleagues told me about Pal Talk as a place for debates and discussions. I went on the Islam section and entered the room True Message. Here I asked questions regarding the repeated movements and was told that these were the actions of prayer. A man who has lost all memory of his children, of his occupation, and could barely eat and drink, was able to remember not only actions of prayer, but verses that were in another language, which made me want to learn more in order to care for him the best I could. I came into the Pal Talk room as often as I could, and was given a link to read the translation of the Quran and listen to it. The chapter of the bee gave me chills, and I repeated it several times a day. It was only after spending time with my patient that I felt like I was missing something. I was missing that sense of peace and tranquility my patient, even through suffering, felt. I wanted that sense of belonging and a part of something that he felt, even with no one around him. I was given a list of mosques in my area by a lady on Pal Talk and went down to visit one. I watched the prayer and could not hold back my tears. I felt drawn to the mosque every day, and the imam and his wife would give me books and tapes to welcome any questions I had. Every question I asked at the mosque and on Pal Talk was answered with such clarity and depth that could do nothing but accept them. I have never practiced a faith, but always believed that there was a God. I just did not know how to worship him. I then went to tend to my patient. I was feeding him, and as I looked into his eyes, I just realised he was brought to me for a reason, and the only thing stopping me from accepting was fear. Not fear in the sense of something bad, but fear of accepting something good and thinking that I was not worthy like this man. That afternoon I went to the mosque and asked the imam if I could say my declaration of faith, the Shahada. There is no God except Allah. Muhammad is Allah's messenger. I cannot explain the feeling I felt when I said it. It was like someone woke me up from sleep and sees everything more clearly. The first person I told was not my brother, but my patient. I went to him, and before I even opened my mouth, he cried and smiled at me. I broke down in front of him. I owed him so much. After my first week as a Muslim, my patient passed away in his sleep while I was caring for him. He was like the father I never had, and he was my doorway to Islam. Islam is a religion with an open door. It is there for those who want to enter it. Verily, Allah is the most merciful, most kind.